Hello everyone and welcome back to our course. In the previous lecture, we created a new instance of Spark here in Google Colab. We made a new Spark app. In this lecture, we're going to find and load data that we are going to work with to experiment with data frames. So for that, I'm going to visit the site finance.yahoo.com. Finance.yahoo.com allows us to get financial data, stock data, in the form of CSV files, and that is going to be very useful for us because we can then just load in that CSV file here in the Colab and convert it to a data frame. And then just like that, we can get up and running with experimenting with data frames. So let's visit finance.yahoo.com and search for any stock you want. I am going to select Alphabet stock, which has the symbol GOOG. So once you've visited that stock page for that exact stock, you can see all of the information about the stock, such as its current value and its history. We're going to click on this tab, Historical Data, because this is what allows us to download a CSV file of historical stock data. Select the time period. Typically 5 years is a good starting point for collecting data. The frequency is daily, and we're showing historical prices. We can already see a preview of the CSV file right here on the web page. The currency is in USD. We have the date of the stock, its opening price, the highest price the stock went to that day, the lowest price that stock went to that day, the closing value of the stock, and the adjacent closing, as well as the volume of the stock. Hit this download button to download the CSV file to any folder on your computer. Make sure it's easily accessible. And the default name of the file is going to be called goog.csv. It's going to be called the stock key, the stock symbol, followed by CSV, because the format is a comma-separated values file, a CSV file. Hit save, and that is going to save that CSV file to your computer. Awesome. Next step, we want to grab that file and we want to put it into Google Colab because we want to be able to access it in Google Colab. So for that, let's create a new code cell and we're going to import from google.colab itself. We're going to import the files module. This will allow us to upload files right here into our Google Colab from our computer. So I'm going to then grab the files module and call its upload function. All right, now if I run this code cell, I'm going to get this prompt to choose files or cancel upload. Hit choose files, then select your CSV file, goog.csv, from your computer and hit open or enter. This is going to upload that CSV file to your Colab, so you can now use it throughout this Colab. All right, and you can reference it just by its name, goog.csv. We can already see a preview of the content right here. You should get this message, saving goog.csv to goog.csv. Okay, next, we are going to use Spark to read that CSV. And for that, I'm going to open up a new code cell, and I am going to call Spark my instance of a Spark app, and I'm going to use its function read.csv. This function, CSV, allows me to read a CSV and save it as a data frame. So for that, I am going to pass in a string, which is the name of the file or the path to the file. In this case, the path to my file is just the name of the file itself, goog.csv, because that's how it's going to be stored relative to this file itself, goog.csv on Google Colab. If you're not using Google Colab, if you're using a different code editor, then you'll have to pass in the path to your CSV file relative to where it is on your computer versus where your current project is. Then we can also pass in whether or not we want the header, true or false, and if we want to infer the schema, true or false, which we do in this case. We're going to save that as a variable df, which is an initialism for data frame. So let's run that code cell. And Spark is going to read our CSV file of stock data. And You can just wait for that to happen. Great. Okay, it's done. Then we can call df, and we can see we have a data frame type. We have several different properties corresponding to columns in our CSV file. We have a date, which is a string by default, the open column or property, which is a double, high, a double, low, double, close double, edge, close double, and finally volume int. So these are the properties in the data frame, and they correspond exactly to the columns that were in the CSV file. Awesome. Okay, great. So this verifies that we were successfully able to find data to work with, and then to upload it here into our Python project, and then to use Spark to convert it to a data frame. Next up, we are going to learn how we can perform basic data frame operations with this data frame that we now have. So join me in my next lecture where we're going to continue our project.